Yo, and welcome. I'm Karen, and this is Introvert Fixes, a series where I fix movies that crashed and burned. In this episode, I'm tackling the worst film of 2015, the three-time Razzie Award winner, Fant4stic. Or Fantastic Four, if you're feeling stupidly generous. I'm not, so it's just going to be Fant4stic. You know the one, the massive mess of a Fox reboot that they really shouldn't have tried after failing the first two times. There was no need for it. And a quick disclaimer, this film was so bad that this is going to take a while. So strap in and let's do this. Now, the cast change for the film was a good idea, especially because they were restarting the franchise, but I do have some gripes with it. I mean, I like Kate Mara, but she was more of an ice queen than the Invisible Woman, and Miles Teller was just awkward. Just so awkward. I mean, the Captain Nemo thing was just annoying as well. By far, my favorite choice for the cast members was Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. I just wished he would have been carefree, happy-go-lucky, more like classic Johnny instead of the depressing version we got. I mean, there was no need for him to be so I hate my dad. You barely interacted with him during the film and you hate it. There's no need for that. I mean, just no need. If I was to change the cast, for Reed, I would cast Matthew Goad because he's got that geeky boy charm, and I feel like he could really pull off the whole super scientist thing. My choice for Susan is January Jones because she's a blend of strong and soft in her face, which is perfect for Susan because she can switch from oh, I'm a kind, caring mother to I'm gonna kill you with a force field. It's just phew. And as Ben Grimm, I would choose Aaron Paul because he's got that kind of military look, which plays into my story really well. Spoilers. Yeah, so that's my Fantastic Forecast. And I know you may be asking, why no Doom? Well, that's because you never throw a main villain into an origin film unless they're an immortal god of mischief. Also, Ian McKellen, because, he's amazing. Are you sure? No, that's a different thing. But when it comes to the story, I do have some major changes to make to all of it. My story would begin with Reed already working and, in fact, owning the Baxter Building, which would have been his father's old research facility left to him in his will. He's working already with Susan on breaking a dimensional barrier and mastering interdimensional travel for no other reason than just because he wants to. I'm tired of this whole film thing where it's the scientist is trying to break through to another dimension to help solve an energy crisis. No. Sometimes scientists just want to put their names in magazines and get Nobel Prizes. And that's what Reed is. He's just a man of science. He wants to find out things. If they end up benefiting people, he's great, benefits people. But if it doesn't, I don't really see him being cool, but I still created a Negaton portal that can go through dimensions. Cool? So the plan for the experiment would be to gather a team and send them through to this interdimensional portal to see what they can find. The team would be led by Benjamin Grimm, who in this universe grew up with Reed, but ended up joining the Air Force and is now a major. Also in his team would be NASA engineer and pilot Johnny Storm, Sue's adoptive brother. I liked that part in the original film where it wasn't he was adopted. In fact, she was adopted. And I think it really works. And I could do it a kind of... She was adopted first because him and his wife couldn't have kids, and then, ooh, miracle child Johnny pops out, and yeah, that'd be really cool. And also, I wouldn't have the whole, he hates his dad thing, because there's no real need for that. I think they'd just be a very happy family, very connected, very loving, whereas Reed wouldn't come from that because his father, Nathaniel Richards, would have died ages ago, so it would have just been him and his mum for a long time, except for Ben, who he'd consider a brother and would care about so much, which is just obvious Fantastic Four mythology. The rest of the team would consist of random scientists who no one really cares about, but not Reed and Sue, who opt to stay back to regulate and keep an eye on the portal, seeing as this is their baby, and they don't really know, if the gate can actually stay open for that long. As the team are about to enter the portal, a creepy little bug-type thing would crawl out, and then it'd be followed by a wave of them just swarming around, attacking and kidnapping people, and taking them back through the portal into what they now dub the negative zone. That's what Reed would call it when he makes the breakthrough, of course, because you always got to put your name on things, and why not the negative zone? I now realize that's what Earth Zero was meant to be, the negative zone. Why would you throw in the negative zone and still make Doom the villain? Anyway, the creatures would grab Ben and Sue and take them back into the portal, and Johnny and Reed would argue about whether or not to go through the portal to rescue the others. Reed would be hesitant at first, but after Johnny jumps through, he would feel the need to follow as well. Because, I mean, he loves Sue and Ben is like his brother, so what are you gonna do? The two would spot and follow a swarm of bugs to like the biggest structure on this alternate Earth, which is just a barren landscape with giant ant hills. Meanwhile, at the top of the structure would be Annihilus, king of the negative zone. You know, the giant guy with the wings and the green and the purple and the cosmic rod, which is a really bad innuendo. And he's just up there blasting the humans he kidnapped with his cosmic rod, testing their reaction to its energy. Kind of like seeing if they can handle it. He'd move on to Susan and Ben, blasting Ben twice for talking against him, and Susan once, and then just carrying on. Back in the real world, however, the remaining scientists would argue with the military on whether to close the portal, leaving the four trapped in Annihilus' dimension, or whether to leave it open and allow the threat to carry on. I mean, you know, the military in these films, they'd be like, oh no, that's a future danger, and then the scientists would be like, our friends are in there and we're not going to let you kill them. In the negative zone, however, Reed and Johnny would finally arrive at the tower and begin climbing to the top where the bugs are swarming to rescue the others. Unbeknownst to them, in Annihilus' testing room, Susan's powers have activated, turning her completely invisible and letting everyone think she's escaped and allowing her to sneak herself and Ben out while Annihilus and his minions are searching for her. But downstairs, Annihilus would run into Reed and Johnny, who he would blast with his cosmic rod, causing their powers to emerge instantly because they've been so saturated in this cosmic environment while they've been walking towards the tower. Johnny would begin to fight Annihilus, blasting him with fire to keep him back, until Susan would come in and create a force field and kind of trap Annihilus and allow the others to escape. They'd run towards the portal, but it would close just as they arrived, the military forcing it to close, of course, with guns, because that's the only way they know how to do things. Ben would begin to mutate and transform into the Thing, finally, just as Annihilus arrives, revealing his plan to conquer Earth by using his cosmic rod to reopen a portal to Earth and sending his army through. As he begins his invasion, the team would follow him through, using their powers to hold him back and stop him from causing so much destruction. Reed would obviously do his super science genius-y thing and see that the cosmic rod is the source of its powers, and would tell the team to concentrate on that. Eventually they take it down and destroy it, sending him and his army back into the negative zone and saving the day. Yay! But wait, I know what you're thinking. Karen, what's that classic Marvel end credits scene that you love so much? Well, in my film, the end credit scene would be so cool. It would just simply be of a metallic pair of legs clanking down a corridor. As outside people begin to chant, you can't really tell what they're chanting, but you know they are chanting something. The legs would carry on walking until they reach a balcony and the door opens. The camera would then pan up over his head and you would just see that green hood. Down in like a castle square, you would see people waving their Latverian flag and a picture of Doom's mask and chanting Doom. Doom, 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 and eventually like cheering for him. And that would be it. Fade to black, all done, awesome. And there you have it. That's my version of the Fant4stic. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any idea on how you would better this film, or any film you think I should fix, please leave it in the comment section down below, and as usual, like and share this video. And hey, why not subscribe to my channel while you're at it? I mean, since you're being generous. I've been Kyron, and this has been Introvert Fixes. Peace out, and good night, good morning, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this. I don't really know, I'm not in your house.